Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah. Young, black, and gifted. We do it for the culture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a great one lined up for him, huh? We gonna get right to that. Yes, sir. This is... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Young, Black, and Gifted podcast, and I am your faithful, dedicated host, Underrated. And today, we got a special guest here, man. But before I let him introduce himself, I'm going to do the liberty of just giving him a more formal introduction, you know? So this young fella here that I'm sitting with, we go back some years, you know? We go back to even like youth football, right? And even as before we hit record here, we even talked a little bit about his family, who I'm, friends with, and our connection even there. And then, the conversation even further went on to our interest in music. So, I'm learning that we got some great things in common here. But apart from those things, one of the main things that drove my interest to bring my guest here today is his current efforts in his content creation. It's a lot going on there, and I am interested to dig a little deeper and to hear his story. I'm pretty sure that his story plays into his efforts and even his vision when it comes to his content creation. So without me rambling on and on, we're going to get right into it, man. Without further ado, Ish Ali, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Man.
sir,
What's
yes,
up,
sir,
Ish? How you
yes,
doing,
sir,
man?
I'm good. I'm well, man.
Yeah, man. It's great to have you on, man. I'm excited. I got some stuff I want to talk about, man. But it's been a while, man. I've been trying to get you here for a little while now. I'm glad to have you here.
Glad to be here, man.
Yeah, man. We're going to get right into it, man. Anything you want to tap into before we get started?
No, we could just get
right into it. All right, cool. So look. So I'm gonna start it off like this for you, Ish. Who is and what is vegan Ish?
Oh man.
Yes. That's something that's a question from Jazz. Shout out to Jazz. But we want to know what's that.
So it was just me being creative when I was in my vegan process.
Okay.
Like I fell off. I ain't even gonna lie.
It happens.
Yeah, I fell off. But vegan-ish is like you kinda vegan.
Yeah.
Basically. So it's like
vegan-ish. Okay, I knew it was a play off words. I said that. Okay, I like that. I like that.
It was like a kinda vegan because I was jumping into it, but I was still dibbling and dabbling with the chicken and all that. So yeah, you know how that go.
So what enticed you to embark on your vegan journey?
Actually being around family. The family started first, so they was like they seen the health benefits from it, and they tapped in with me with the Dr. CB, and all of that. So I really dug into that, the sea moss and all of that. So it was like going healthy is the way to go. So I was like, all right, well, let me try this vegan thing, and I did try it. I dibbled and dabbled. I mean, I'm off track, but when I did do it, it was very much a health benefits. Like I was, breathing better. Like a whole bunch of stuff. It was
mentally,
like,
So what I'll say, even like I get it, man. But what I'll say is just because we've developed so many habits throughout our lives, to kind of like just stop at the drop of a hat and implement stronger habits, if you will. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough.
But just making an effort is a step in the right direction. You feel me? So I salute you for that. So definitely, I agree. I haven't done the vegan. I did pescatarian.
Okay.
Where I just kind of like no chicken, no meat. Period. Just like fish and things
seafood,
of that nature.
Like,
And that's not through my knowledge and growing now, I've learned that that's not the best thing either. So it's tough.
How did it make you feel though?
I'll say, to be honest, like I feel like for me it was like more of a mental thing. I think I was mentally I was thinking a lot more clear.
Okay.
And just like yourself too, like since then I fell off. I've been all that stuff. Yeah. So but during the time when I made a conscious effort of trying it, of attempting, just I'll say mentally, it was more like a mental aspect that had me fall into it. So the maybe even because at that time I was working overnight. Yeah. So maybe even, maybe the effect physically was there, but I was more looking because I had learned from Styles. Styles had talked about like being plant-based.
Right.
So
The
I
juice
knew I wasn't going to be able to
that,
do straight plant-based, so I tried being pescatarian. You feel me? So, and it was mainly about the mind clarity thing. So I was more focused on that aspect of it. But nonetheless, salute to you for at least embarking. But I said to Jazz, I said that's probably a play. Knowing Ish, that's probably a play off of words. Yeah, for sure.
That's when you was at the job where I used to work at too. Yeah. And I saw you.
I forgot about. I forgot. Yo, it's there, yo. I forgot. So we'll get into that. I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking about a segue to be able to talk about being at that job.
Okay.
But I forgot you were there for us.
I used to see you all the time.
Wow. I forgot about that. Yeah. But I'll save that. I'll save that for like towards the end of the show, so that because I want to get more into you.
Okay.
You feel me? So so we touched on, we figured out who Vegan Ish is. So I want to ask you, let's talk about, one of the things I used in your introduction to who you are, I talked about youth sports.
Okay.
So that I would say that was my introduction to who you are, maybe even before finding out that you were friends. That you were family with some of my friends at the time.
Right.
I knew you from like youth sports. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, that this is the Young Black and Gifted podcast. Right. And, part of our mission here too is shedding light on a lot of the youth and just trying to help support the youth and keep them on the right track. So let's talk about some of your experiences with youth sports and maybe even some of what you think the benefits are for today's youth.
Discipline.
Yes.
For sure, discipline. Mm-hmm. Like when I tell you, like I put up a couple posts. Like I feel like Kyle Wynn was the Alabama of Pennsylvania, and I'm gonna keep it real. Like I feel like we produce like some of the best talent to come around. This way. So, but Coach McCluskey.
Absolutely.
Coach McCluskey,
right?
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace to Coach McCluskey, man. And it was like I was scared to play football. I was scared.
How did you break out of that?
I was terrified. I mean, the family.
Yeah.
Oh, we not about to do that.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was like a forced thing. Yeah. But I love football. Yeah. It was just like I wasn't used to the contact. I wasn't used to, other people, people like, disciplining and all of that. And it was just like, it was a lot for me. And I think I probably had anxiety or something like that. But I was like, man, I quit. My first year, I was like, I quit.
What level was that?
Pee-wees.
Pee-wees? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I quit.
Coach Joe, yeah, I can see that.
But I was on a double A though.
Okay.
So I quit, and then the next year, they was like, "Nah, you playing," and I played, and I was with a lot of my cousins. Okay. So that's how I was like, welcomed in. I want to say.
Did you play all the way up into seniors?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. And, who was on that? So just so I could get an idea. So who was on that team with you on the seniors?
On the seniors?
Yeah. You remember?
Oh man, it was me, Stacy, Damar.
Oh, that team. Okay.
Yeah, and Corey. Corey.
Corey.
Call him Ak.
Yeah. He played college.
Yeah, he was on my team. Yeah, he was on my team.
That's fine.
He played towards the back end.
Okay.
So yeah,
Wait, he was the quarterback. Was he quarterback?
No, receiver.
Why I keep trying to play him as a quarterback?
Yeah, no. He was a receiver. You talking about
Bach?
Yeah, Bach. He was the quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Listen, and it's crazy because I was on my junior year. I was on the same team with Dev.
Okay.
I was on the same team with Dev. Dev was on one side. I was on the other side.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it ran deep, man. It's just like, I played with a lot of great talent. I played with my cousin Cash.
Okay.
That was the first year I actually played football.
So
we went undefeated, won the championship 40-0.
So all right. So hold on. All right. So I'm thinking. So my introduction to you was on the midgets then, because I was on the juniors. I don't think you was on the peewees then.
No, because I'm like how old is?
I'm 36.
I'm 5 years behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 years. Yeah, I'm 5 years behind. Yeah.
I know the. All right. Okay. So if I was on the juniors, then you might have been on the peewees.
Probably so.
On the peewees then. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Oh, you was on the team. You was on the team with Clayton and.
So that's why I wanted to shout out Clayton. Clayton just reached out to me, and I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you that was my introduction to the physical aspect of football because I didn't know. Up until that point, I had only played street football, maybe tackle on the grass, but it's definitely a different
with pads
beast.
on.
Yeah, it's
you
different.
Gotta be different. Yeah.
but Clayton gave me my first lesson about what it really was about.
Yeah, because I heard he was a dog, and I tell you, Cash gave me my first experience.
Okay.
He gave me my first experience and not caring no more, like when I'm hitting and all of that, because you know when you do the two I gotta throw this out there.
When you lay on the ground?
No, 2 lines.
Okay.
One line, and one got the ball, one got tackle.
Yes.
So
yes.
In line, I know Khalid was the hardest hitter.
Yeah.
This is my cousin. I already know. So I would count how many joints he in, and if I'm number 5 and he number 5, I'll let somebody go in front of me.
That's crazy.
But Coach McCluskey,
he said, nah.
Yo, come to the front. Khalid, come to the front.
They try to be nice to each other.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. You going to tell you playing defense.
That's fire.
When I collided with him that first time, it was like all the jitters was out, and you know you get a certain type of anger. Like when you tackle, like I ain't about to get ran over. I ain't about to be the laughing stock. So like then that's when I started hitting. And it was just like it was over after that. Like
I feel like maybe I'm picturing you on the midgets. So maybe you were on the midgets when I was on the seniors. Maybe y'all had, and I could see that. I could see Cass being there on, like I could see that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have been on the team with Hottie.
So Hottie,
was you with Man or Hottie?
I was with Hottie and Man.
Okay.
So I was only with Hottie 1 year because Hottie, I think he started early. So he was on our Pee Wee team when we went undefeated and won the championship.
Okay.
He on a plaque and everything. His name on the plaque and all that. Yo, it's crazy because I forgot he was on that team.
I remember that era. So did y'all have Futch too? Was he a part of that?
Futch. We had
that was a good team right there.
Yeah.
So you played all the way up to the seniors. Did you play any high school? Did you play ball? Did you play?
I didn't play football in high school. I played basketball in high school.
Okay.
I played 9th and 10th.
11th
and 12th I did.
Okay. So I that's what I'm saying. I kind of like wanted to talk about that because so how it happened for me, like just seeing you just hit this growth spurt. I'm like, yo, I said, yo, that was it. Damn. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your experience playing basketball in 9th and 10th grade. So 9th grade, would you have been playing? Was it Penwood?
Yeah, I was playing at Penwood.
So you played? Was it Mr. Keys still then? Was he still coaching then?
See, we went to another. They started the 9th grade academy.
Yes.
We was the first people to start that.
Okay.
And it was only 9th grade. So Penwood was 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now I think it's 9th and 10th, and then the high
they
is
switched
11th
it a
and
few
12th.
times too. Yeah.
So we started there, and we had a coach named Coach Downey. And
okay.
We did absolutely well. Like we did good because we only lost 3 games. We lost to Lower Marion and we lost to Chester twice.
Yeah.
So it was like them 3. There was the only 3 losses, and like we had a solid team as well too. Like
who was name a few guys from that squad?
Karan.
Okay.
Muhammad that live in Colwyn.
Wait a minute. So it's another Muhammad, but the Muhammad I'm thinking of might be a little older. He might be a little older.
African Muhammad.
Yeah.
His little brother played on my 9th grade team.
Okay.
Usman.
Okay.
He played on my 9th grade team. Any with that you talking about like people you will know?
Yeah.
No, it was probably like me, Karan, and like one other person that was on from Darby.
Okay.
So everybody else was from
okay. Yeah, so I was asking myself, did Ish play ball?
Yeah.
Because I said it's like I know you said football you played a lot of, but it's like even with your height, it's definitely a ball player. Like definitely see you playing ball. Yeah. So 10th grade. So
10th grade I didn't go to Penwood.
Oh, you went to another so that's okay. So let's talk a little bit about that.
It was an amazing experience.
Okay.
Like I went to a charter school.
Okay.
I went to World Communications.
Okay.
And that's on Broad South.
Yes.
But it's not there no more.
Okay.
So I played 10th grade and I was playing varsity. Like I didn't get that much time, but I was playing varsity and it was just like one of them experiences like, oh snap, like this is the city. And we was playing against MOTEP, we was playing against Prep Charter and all them, and they was like the powerhouses. So to get that experience, get that feel, even though I didn't get in the game like that, but to get that atmosphere, that Philly like gritty atmosphere is just like it's this way different from the county. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Chester though,
Chester too, but everybody good. In the county around my time, it was only 2 teams that was good. AP really wasn't like that, but
it was
had a couple years.
It's either Chester. It's always gonna be Chester, but it's either Penwood and AP. Like maybe you get
and Glen Mills, maybe.
Glen Mills too. Yeah.
So it was only, but the city had a bunch of teams. Like it was different. It was a different experience.
So after your 10th grade, you didn't play any more ball.
No, I didn't play.
So you just was it any specific reason as to why?
No,
not?
11th grade I got cut.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got cut. And they wound up winning the chip. it was like a salty feeling, but it was just like, all right, well, what you gonna do after this? How you gonna bounce back? 12th grade, I didn't even try out. And it was just like one of them things like, all right, I'm gonna just try to play college, but I didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do school anymore, so it was just like, all right, it's over for that. I'm gonna just get a couple of jobs and then go like that.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, because I always wonder, I'm like, damn, did Ish play ball? And I could kind of maybe, even if it was 9th grade, I could kind of like, you know, small, it's like a small memory of you playing ball.
Yeah.
But that makes sense now since you said you ended up going to school out into the city. As a while, I didn't see you.
I should have stayed there, actually. I should have stayed there, but my wanting to breeze through school, I ain't going to no charter school because you got to keep a B average to stay in there. And I'm like, man, I could go to Penwood and get C's and whatever, and I could just breeze through high school. I didn't look at the bigger picture like, all right, I'm at a charter school. The coach really was digging me and all of that and was like, yo, like, you could be good and I can make you good. And my uncle got me into that school, so we could have been training, but I was like, man, it was too much. And it was just like, all right, like I don't want to say a give up thing, but it was just like, yo, like I'm not about to.
If you had the chance to do it a second time, would you have done it differently, or would you just do it the same way that you did it?
I would have done it differently only because even when I was at the charter school, I transferred knowing that that team was good. And this time around, like if I was to do it again, work my ass off that summer. And then just,
who if you would have stayed out here in Penwood your 12th grade year, who would you have been on the team with?
It would have been me, Tyree, Aaron.
See. All right.
No, for real, man.
What?
Like, and they and the crazy part is, even though I got cut and all of that, all of them like showed me like the utmost respect when it come to basketball. Because like when I was playing in playgrounds and all of that, I was all right. Like I was giving people I was giving people like a little bit of smoke, man. Like it was a good.
So we could have had Ish on the state championship team, yo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man.
That would have been fire. I ain't gonna lie, man. But I mean, you know, you make your decisions and you live with them.
Everything happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
I mean, I ain't regretting nothing. So,
absolutely. That would have been nice to see. I'll say though,
for sure.
So so no college ball or any sports. So like any rec leagues, anything like that.
Yeah, I play in a couple rec leagues and all of that, but it wasn't nothing. You know.
So where would you say at this point in your life, like where would you say you are as far as like you playing sports? Like I know, like you could potentially like try out for professional teams, but is that something on you?
No, actually, I'm getting in shape.
Okay,
I'm getting in shape because there's a lot of I got a list.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got a list.
That's fine. Just from the sports part, I just kind of like, you know, I know that was I'm pretty sure you heard it. Did you hear it?
What?
Like, did people like, you're not playing ball? You coming to play ball?
Oh,
and all that
yeah.
stuff that you would have had to.
Hell yeah.
Because you grew taller than everybody.
But I wasn't this tall in high school. I'm gonna say that. I was probably like pushing 6 foot in high school.
Okay.
So I wasn't this tall, but after I got out of high school, I grew to like 6'3". Like,
got you. Okay. All right. Cool. That's fire. So, but outside of your personal experiences with sports, obviously, we know that we'll get to that part too. Like you like your teams and all that stuff. So we'll get into that. Yeah. All right. So my next section, you know, I want to get a little bit more. I'm going to pick it up a little bit, right? Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about like mental health. Okay. All right. So I want to ask like, what's your take on mental health in the Black community, and what do you consider the benefits and or the disadvantages? The disadvantages of therapy. First, what's your take on mental health in the Black community?
Mental health is a serious thing.
Yeah.
It's very serious. And my personal experience, like when I was dealing with what happened to my daughter passed away when she was 2 years old. And like I was going through it, and like I wasn't thinking about suicide, but I was doing stuff that had killed me. Like I was doing stuff that had killed me. And Jay saved my life. I'm gonna tell you. Look, I'm gonna tell you.
Perfect sense.
That man saved my life because I was working at a job and he had came through and on some regular stuff, and I got in the van and he just started talking to me and all of that and was like, "Yeah, you gotta do this and you gotta be," and I took his advice. My whole life changed. He was a part of the reason too I was vegan, but he like changed, like he had changed your whole perspective and like just like I want to say a couple months ago I saw him in Kyle and he stopped and I was like, "Yo, I don't know how life gonna go, but you saved my life." I had to tell him that you saved my life. Him and my cousin Eric, they saved my life because it was like, it was like, yo, like, yeah, I know you're going through this, I know you're going through that, but the pep talks and everything that I needed to hear, the universe sent it to me. So it was like, yo, like it was nothing but the universe and all that.
Somewhere,
man.
ladies and gentlemen.
Man. It was a beautiful thing, and I tell him as much as I can, like, yo, you saved my life, and he know it, but you know how humble he is. But he don't really understand. Yeah. Well, he do understand, but you know he take the humble approach as he should. But you know, like I want him to know, like that was a big moment in my life, and he changed it. He changed the narrative of my life. So yeah,
I'll say this to you. First off, again, rest in peace to your daughter. I'll say that. Obviously, like you've put things, you know, you'll honor her, so, you know, with a picture and stuff like that. But from my position, right? Obviously, I don't have the intel like that your family would have, but you know, one of the things I've seen, not that it probably, I would imagine that, you know, it would affect anybody, right, to have to go through something like that. But I think that you've done a great job at handling it in public, if you will, from what I can see. Right. Because most people, you know, I don't know what you were dealing with, right? Like personally in your own space, but sometimes when people go through a tragedy or sometimes even trauma, you know, it shows. You know, every time I encountered you, the same person I'm sitting here with right now, you know what I'm saying? And I would say in order to be able to handle yourself in such a manner, you have to be a strong individual. Right. You know what I mean? And that doesn't say, just because you're strong doesn't mean that you don't bend.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
Listen, I know how to hide. I practiced it my whole life. How to hide pain and all of that, so nobody won't know what's going on. That's why it's like that mental health thing is really a thing. Like you could think that, all right, well, I'm having a conversation with you, but I could be going through a million things behind the scene, but you would never know. Just like somebody on the train, I didn't want to like, you know, disrespect this lady, but she was like, are you that guy that died? And I'm like, huh? Am I the guy that died? I was about to answer like, can you ask that question again? Like, so you can hear yourself. But it was an older lady, but she was trying to say that I looked at like the Twitch guy.
Oh, wow.
And you know how he committed suicide and he was all like, you know, happy and all of that. And I looked at that and I was like, dang, that's crazy. That's what brought me to make that suicide prevention video. We're gonna talk about that. All right.
We're gonna get to that. Nonetheless, so let me ask you this. Outside of, you know, having your support system, which is always great when we dealing with heavy things, what were some of the other things that you did or practice in order to be able to kind of like process, you know, anything? It doesn't have to be that specific thing, but if you got a lot going on and you know, like you said, you're not being your normal self, if you will, like what are some things in place outside of like therapy, right? Because we'll get into therapy too, but what are some other things that you've done to kind of like make yourself feel better?
It's kind of it's kind of different because I don't know anybody that is like me. Well, nobody's like me. Nobody's like you.
Absolutely.
But, you know, like I had 3 things that I did. I go for a walk. So I will walk from Upper Darby to Darby and back to Upper Darby.
Yeah, that's not about right.
Music? Huh? Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know that.
And there was 2 shows that I watched.
Okay.
And I don't care how many times I watched them on rotation, but it was every day I watched episodes until I fell asleep. Like when my daughter first passed. It was My Brother and Me. Look.
I just posted that joint. That's a fire joint.
Yo, My Brother
and it take you back to a good place, right?
It's underrated, man.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Yeah,
like,
that's
definitely.
A fact. There you go.
Underrated for sure. And Smart Guy.
Okay.
They was my 2 shows, go-to shows, because like I don't know what it is, but it's just like that old feeling, and it was like the jokes, all of that like it just pressed me through.
And it was a good time. It would have had to been a good time for you, right?
For sure.
In life, right? Yeah, I could see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And no show, even like My Brother and Me, when I just watched the clip of My Brother and Me, it was the one when he hit me. That joint.
Oh yeah. Oh,
was it a girl?
The bully joint. Yeah,
it ended up being
a girl.
But it really took me back to that time. Like, dang.
Yeah. And that was before me. I think it came out the year I was born.
So, and what happened was it stayed on rotation. You know, we came up with Nickelodeon, all that, and all that stuff like that. Nick at Night. But it was on rotation. They kept running. It was only one season.
Slipped through the crack. Yeah, and there was only one season. It was just like that was one of them joints that like
it should have.
Yeah, it could have been
running.
more. Yeah,
that's a fact.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, good show. Mm-hmm. So all right, so you had your three things, and how would you say like were they proven to be effective for you? They
was effective in the moment. They was effective in the moment because like when my daughter first passed. I was drinking myself to sleep. That's why I was saying like I wasn't doing stuff that I wasn't trying to commit suicide, but I was doing stuff that'd kill me. So when I was drinking, I'll get a bottle of because when I was working, it was tips.
Okay.
So I get a bottle of E&J and drink the whole joint until I fell asleep or whatever. And if I get off, I'm like, damn, I'm low on my E&J, and I just go in my room and then just like do that and watch them shows or whatever, and that's how I cope with it. And then that's when a big thing happened to me. It was just like I almost lost my vision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I almost lost my vision because I wasn't drinking. When I was drinking, I wasn't drinking water. I wasn't really taking care of myself. And like, I don't know what happened in my eyes, but for a whole month straight, I couldn't see. Like, I was like sensitive to light. I don't know what it was, but it was sensitive to light. It was only God that brought my cousin, Jay, like, yo, like, yeah, you got to turn that around. You got to turn it around. Like, here goes some stuff. Like, and it wasn't like, you got to turn it around. What you doing?
No.
It was just like helpful stuff. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, you got to do this. You got to do that. And then that's when I started looking up stuff on YouTube. Like, what can help my eyes? Then when I was looking up YouTube stuff on what can help my eyes, I learned about this guy named Ralph Smart.
That name sounds familiar. Who's that?
So he into like astrology, the universe, and all of that stuff.
Yes.
And I just started watching all his videos. And when I tell you like that's a life changer too. Like if you watch it, like just if you want to ever like interested in all of that, like Ralph Smart on YouTube, like it was definitely a helpful thing.
I saw that is he in you got a playlist there on your which we'll get into your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Are some of his videos inside of that playlist, a created playlist?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
What's
the name again?
Ralph Smart.
Ralph Smart. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So we'll talk about, and this is kind of like going to lead us into like, again, we'll get into your content,
right?
Because just by you telling your story, I'm seeing the connection there, right?
Right.
So you had your three things. You had which were the walk, which is fire for me. Yeah. I'll just in where we are now. I'll probably walk the same route multiple times opposed to just walking. But absolutely, right? It really helps, especially when you insert the music in it. And it's kind of like freeing too, especially if it's nice outside. You know, it really does help. And then you had your two shows, right?
Yeah.
And then also you had your support system, which is fire, right? So what about therapy? Was it any therapy involved?
No therapy because I didn't have insurance. And I know we're going to talk about it later, but that's why I threw that in one of the episodes.
Okay.
I was like, at the end, I was like, first of all, you a bitch. And second of all, I didn't have insurance. That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Yo.
Nah, for real. It's like,
that joke really funny, bro.
For real, man. I had to throw that in there because that's how I was really feeling.
Yeah, and just as, you know, we're laughing, but you'll see, once we get to that part and we'll talk about issues, content creation, you'll see why. And the more and more I'm learning now, I like how you did that. I like how you took that and then even inserted like that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So just in terms of therapy, right? Like what's your take on therapy in the Black community? You didn't get a chance to do it for yourself, but how important do you feel as though it is, whether it's for you in your situation to be able to utilize that in your situation or just for people in general within our community?
It depends.
Okay.
On the type of person, because pulled through without therapy at all because I was like reading books and watching YouTube. But it depends on the individual.
That's fire.
Like if you really need therapy, you feel like you need to talk to somebody. You can go see a therapist, like somebody that you trust, and that might be better for you. That might be better for you to get out your pain and all of that stuff. But I closed myself off for a long period of time that I learned how to deal with stuff by myself. That I realized that that's not the way to go for me, because when I started opening up to people and letting people know like I'm going through something and not trying to be so strong and all of that, it helped me out a lot. Like, and it was just like, all right, I got somebody to vent to. I got some, because I never wanted to put my struggles, my pain on everybody, and I didn't want nobody's sympathy.
Okay.
Even though it's good to have somebody there that be like, all right, that care about you. It's a different feeling. Like, and for the people that don't want to take like people's sympathy and all of that, just have that in the back of your mind. Like, you don't know how that can change you. You don't know that could change your perspective of somebody. You were letting somebody love you during them times.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
It's a big thing.
I would agree. And I salute you though, man. Again, outside of, the obstacles that you were faced, that's a tough thing to have to deal with. But again, every time I seen you, I haven't seen you in that space. And even, you accredited to like being able to hide well, right? But even in that, you could kind of like, I'm pretty aware, you could pick up on those things. But even if you classify it as hiding, I think that is still a part of who you are. Not hiding, but who you displayed to me, whether it was at the height of what you were dealing with, or as you were, dealing with it, processing it. It's always been great energy from you. You know what I'm saying? And you can't fake that stuff. You can't hide it either. You know what I'm saying? So I always knew it was something great there. You know what I mean? But to deal with such a thing and be able to handle it in a manner, I salute you for that.
And I want to give a shout out to all my friends too, because I closed everybody off. Like that was around the time I changed my number. That was around the time when I was going to work and just coming home, and nobody can get in touch with me, and that's the way that I preferred it. So I really closed everybody off, but it was friends that said fuck all that. And excuse my language.
No, you good. I get it.
Forget all that, like they knocked on my door. Like, what's going on? Like, and I had one friend, shout out to Tari.
Okay.
That's one of my good friends. He came from California. Wow. And knocked on my door.
Ran down on you.
Yeah, my little brother. Yeah, absolutely. My little brother answered the door, and he was like, your homie downstairs. I'm like, all right, you just said a homie, like who? So I came downstairs with him, and I was shocked. And he like, he definitely ran down on me and told me about myself. Like, look, I know you're going through what you're going through, but don't ever do that again. Like, basically, like, really check me. And it was a good check. Like, yo, like, we was Google searching, like, if you did something to yourself, and like, yeah, people like, and another one of my homies is shout out to Frage and Cole. They pulled up,
okay,
and was like, yo, we ran into your mom. So it was like, yo, like, what's up with Ish? Like, and she was like, he in the house, y'all need to go check on him and all of that. And they came through or whatever, and it was like, and we set out.
Shout out to my Dukes too, man.
Yeah,
we gonna get into that too.
Yeah,
I got a little story I want to share too.
Okay.
Yeah,
but they pulled up. They pulled up Danielle, Kieran.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about like your friendship with him. I see that y'all pretty tight too. Kieran, Danielle and them too.
Absolutely. She pulled up.
Yeah.
Father's Day with a pillow and all of that. Like that's my best friend.
Yeah.
And
fire.
even though I'm not too good, like I don't say it all often, but that's really my best friend. So
that's fine.
And she was.
Shout out to them too. They very connected to seeing their connection with you, and then even like.
Yeah, shout out to the Young family. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
very
of
connected.
All of them.
Yeah, shout out.
Yep.
That's fire though, Ish, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm grateful to see that you handling your situation, and you figuring out ways to deal with it. Because I know it's tough, even in where I see you at today. I get it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to just salute you for putting in the work, putting in the necessary work, and shout out to your support system too.
Absolutely.
For being there, because that helps out a great deal too.
Mm-hmm.
You know
and family too.
Family
so I
too.
got to salute them too. My fault.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to my family too.
Having that support system, those things or those people to be able to lean on, I can imagine it's like it helps. It helps. So, but nonetheless, salute to you. Mm-hmm. So, let's get into a little bit of your content creation, because which I think is great, because for me myself it connected the dots. Mm-hmm. So I want to give you the opportunity to be able to talk a little bit more in depth about the content creation in itself, right? Mm-hmm. So but before I do that, I just want to talk. I want to give you my take on it, right?
Okay.
So so I didn't get a chance to see, like I did watch them all, but mm-hmm. I really, because I knew I was having you on, I really dug into it this time, right? So one of the things I caught and I didn't catch the first time with, I'm sorry, and I got it right here, and I should have, I'm Free Yourself.
Yeah.
So with Free Yourself, mm-hmm. I didn't realize originally that was the setup for
Dr. Ali. And that's crazy that you picked up on it.
That's fire.
You picked up on
that's
that.
Fire.
That's crazy.
So and we'll talk I'll talk to you a little bit more in depth about some things that mm-hmm. Give you more of my insight, but I won't use that here. So mm-hmm. And then just through your story and some of the stuff, some of the experiences, it kind of like it connected the dots for even what you did with Be My Peace or Meet My Peace.
Right.
So if you could just kind of like walk us through, if you want to start with Free Yourself and then lead us up into some of the without giving everything, mm-hmm. because we definitely want to for those who haven't gotten a chance to see it, we definitely mm-hmm. want to make sure we drive some traffic over there. But,
right.
But if you can just like walk us through, like, what was happening there, and what was kind of like the base surrounding that.
So when the video starts off, mm-hmm. it starts off with the beginning of my cousin Eric's song.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know he was a rapper.
Yeah, shout out to E, man. Yeah. Yep.
He was that was the first beginning of his song. So mm-hmm. when it first starts, it's a flat line when you first see me. So that's like I'm dead. Mm-hmm. So as as it picks up and all of that, mm-hmm. I tell about events, all them things, they really happened in my life. It wasn't just like nothing like that I was just making up or whatever. And then
so what were was it 2 or 3 voices there? I'm talking on Free Yourself.
All of them was my voice.
No, I'm saying but they're different perspectives,
okay.
Right?
So one of the voices was me talking to myself.
Okay.
And it has to do with a Kendrick song. When they say, shut the fuck up when you hear love talking.
Okay, yeah.
So when I was like, shut the fuck up, don't you hear love talking? And then my daughter came in there.
Yeah, and I heard that voice.
Yeah, I love you, daddy, and all of that. Yeah. But that was around the time where,
was it enough? Were you hearing? I'm sorry, excuse
mm-hmm.
me, not to cut you off,
mm-hmm.
but were you hearing? Was it another voice other than you talking to yourself? Was it more, or was it just?
It was me. It was just me and my daughter. That's
got
it.
You. Okay, all right, I got you. Okay.
But then it was so when she was talking to me, it was like what you thought you was going to write her letters, and because I was writing her letters because it was like it was a lot going on with that situation or whatever, and I wrote her in a notebook. Mm-hmm. Like when I didn't get to see her, I wrote like letters in the notebook or whatever, and I was gonna give it to her when she got older. You know what I mean? So and it wound up didn't work. And I said, how much did that work out for you? You know what I mean? So it was a lot to that. But moving on into the video, after the flat line, you hear me say, "Good luck, Dr. Ali."
Yes.
And then the heartbeat starts. So that's me freeing myself, and I'm back alive.
That's fire.
Yeah,
I like the way you did that.
I'm back alive.
So, and another thing I caught too, just through our last part when you was talking through, this was a joint that stood out to me was, they calling you, everybody saying how real you is, mm-hmm. in which it was like you can't even pick up the phone to call or something like some of that, mm-hmm. But you pieced that together for me. I kind of like. I'm
gonna tell you where I got that from.
Okay.
Keyron.
Okay.
Keyron threw up a post and was like, "Yo, this one of the realest people I know," mm-hmm. and all of that. Mm-hmm. And with all of my friends and family and everything, like, I don't know what it is, and it's something that I gotta get better on, and that's just like being consistent with, being in touch with people, because everybody like, "Yo, where you been at?" and all of that. And I'm just so much of a loner that a lot of people don't know. Like, I'm a people person, but I'm a loner at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I really just like stay to myself really when I'm not, in the mix or whatever, because somebody called me out or whatever. But I need to be better in that aspect of, hitting people up and checking on them because they check on me. And it's like it's always that one way thing, and I don't want them to think that it's love lost or I don't love people and all of that. But it's just like I stay to myself, and I gotta be more consistent with
Yeah, and that's fire too, because there's a few things that you've done over the years that kind of like shocked me. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
One of them is, and you've done this multiple times, was post my mixtape. I'm like,
oh my gosh, yo,
it's up there.
Nah, cause I feel like you know who you like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you
Okay.
my analysis. You like Fab.
Okay.
One
like
know why?
that.
Because you so selfish with your music, and I'm gonna tell you to your face. You so selfish. You so selfish with your music. You got that core fan base, and you like, all right, I'm gonna feed them when I want to.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what Fab do. Look, I got the core fan base. I don't care. Look, my number is gonna be at 69,000 when I drop.
Yeah.
Because all my fans is just them 69,000 people, and I know I'm gonna get that. I can bank on that every time. And it's just like when you drop that first mixtape, you and my cousin are the people that my cousin Eric, y'all drop mixtapes, and it was like, all right, so what else next? What y'all got going on? And I'm sitting there listening, like when you first posted, my favorite joint was Phone Thug.
Okay. Yeah.
Yo, I was like, I'll be rapping that shit. I'll be rapping on the bus everywhere. Like, and then I was like,
they just got rid of
that Piff. Yeah.
And that's the only place I had it too.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, hey.
So I'll share this with you. First off, I appreciate that, right? I appreciate the sentiment and just the support there. But for me, at the times in which you did it, it was the furthest thing from my life at the time, my mind. So it was very like, it felt good, you know? So, and then it's like, Ish did that. So, I've gotten that supportive feel, and maybe those were signs that I probably should pick it up. And me, like dealing with my everyday life, I didn't take it as such. But the fact that you had that in your mind and that you didn't just keep it to yourself, you even shared it with me. That's fire. That's fire. And you caught me on my birthday a few times.
Absolutely, and
surprised me. I'm like, I didn't post nothing about my birthday.
You know how I know your birthday though, right?
I don't know.
You said on
the 3rd.
On your mixtape. Everybody know that I was born on the 3rd.
I said she's colder than the 17th of February. Oh, you ain't know.
But you know I was born on the 3rd.
Listen to this, y'all. That's fire, Ish.
Listen, I
remember. How Ish know my birthday?
I remember stuff like that, and I that's what I do with a lot of people. Like, even though I don't hit them up a lot, I make it my business to inbox everybody, like individually, like, yo, you good? I'm just checking on you. Even if it's just like, yeah, I'm good, or whatever the case may be, and then I don't, you don't gotta give me a whole conversation or whatever. Like, I'm really just thinking about you and checking on you. Like, that's the type of person. I'm not going to hit you up for nothing. I'm not going to ask you for nothing. I'm just going to check on you, and that's.
And I'll say again, the reason why I brought those points up is because I'm like, when you did them, because of my connection to your people, I know that it's a great place where you like got your information from, right? Yeah. But I didn't know that until now. You just pieced those things together for me. But I'm like, yo, I think Ish some type of wizard. I'm like, how you know my birthday, bro? Like, and I'm like, yo, he I don't know what I might have been dealing with, and then he sent the music, and it made me feel good. Like I did something, did something good with myself. You know what I mean? So, but even with just you being in tune, it says a lot about who you are. But so I guess where I'm trying to get at what you saying, like with you being able to do that for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I know Ish got it in him because me and Ish don't talk on a day-to-day basis, but he's giving that to me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm like, I don't know if that's something that he's struggled within himself with, like, like you said, being more consistent, right? Yeah,
for sure.
But nonetheless, I know because I've experienced it. I know that it's a part of who you are. So if I can experience that with you, I know that you're friends.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? That you can offer up the same thing, or that you do offer those same things.
Yeah.
Also.
And they make me feel some type of way too. So
okay.
They make me feel some type of way because they be like, yo, damn, where is she at? Like, what's going on? And then it'd be like, damn, like, look, I'm just in my own zone. But they know that, and shout out, like I keep shouting them out, but shout out to my friends because they understand me.
Yes, and that's a great part of any connection with in the human race is having that level of understanding. Because even in you expressing it to me, I get it, I understand. So you said I'm a people person, but I'm a loner. I understand that because we need sometimes, especially when our minds are pretty much our biggest, our biggest thing that we kind of like thrive off of that. But sometimes it could be a double-edged sword.
Don't get too caught up in that.
Yes. Yeah. So sometimes, that's why I understand. I know that walk. Sometimes for me, it might include having a phone conversation while walking, but nonetheless, I feel free. I'm walking. I don't feel so confined. I'm not stuck in the house. You know what I mean? So I get it. I understand. So another thing before we go too far off, I wanted to ask you, if you could, for our listeners, because you gave us a briefing about free yourself. So without going into, if you could generalize the be my peace or meet my peace, what would you say? Like, what is, for somebody that you are basically pitch it to the people, for those who haven't seen it?
Okay, be my peace and meet my peace is just like everyday life. So I wanted to tap into stuff that happened on in everyday life, and it's just like being as though that I'm a loner, but I'm a people person. It's just like certain people don't understand how to deal with certain people. So it's like, all right, well, I know I'm doing this, but when it comes to it, it's just like, leave me alone, or I'm going to make you leave me alone. So it's that, like, be my peace or meet my peace. Like, I'm trying to give you the peaceful solution. Like, all right, look, like the lady on the bus, John. So I was like, yo, like,
what did he say? Hold on.
yo,
what did he say, Ish? What did he say? He said, first off, what did he say? He said, what you say, Ish?
Yeah. He said, first of all, I don't care how old you is.
What the young boys say? He said, there your grandma got you beat
up. Oh
yeah,
your grandma got you fucked up, young man. Nah, man, like that's really how it be, and it could be like, all right, I'm trying to avoid the situation, but you making me do it my last resort.
Yes,
that's my last resort.
I know that
but
feeling.
It also comes with, I want people to see, like, in everyday life, to be mindful of, you don't know what people going through. So when you say stuff and when you do stuff, it's just like, it could be that, and it can go there.
Yes, it could be triggering. You could.
You got different type of triggers. You got different type of people. You don't know how people handle certain situations, because the old lady was just like, all right, well, you don't know me from a can of paint. I got my headphones in. I'm not bothering nobody. But it triggered the old lady, like, yo, that's somebody that I know do stuff in the streets or whatever, because they pants hanging off their ass or whatever and got the headphones in. So she already categorized me with somebody else. And that's not who I am. I just got off of work. I'm a citizen. Yeah. Like, I'm not into that. Like, but the fact that you push them buttons, and I'm not trying to be a disrespectful person, but you push me, like, I feel like I said in the video, it should be respect on both ends.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I feel like a lot of elders, they abuse their
position. Yeah. I know what you mean.
All right, I could talk to you any type of way, and you just gonna have to take it and go sit down. That's how it used to be. But when we in the time where I can express myself, like, look, miss, I wasn't trying to disrespect you, but you really disrespected me. Now I don't care.
Yeah.
Now I don't care.
So listen, y'all. This is a part I keep laughing because there is a comedic relief within the content. So as deep as his Ish's story is, and even the content, there is a comedic relief to it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you that. What was your reasoning for making it more like even though it's dealing with and showing like serious matters?
Yeah.
What was your reasoning for inserting the comedy into it?
To grab the attention of people. Because, like, I feel like a laugh can go a long way. But when you laughing, you also thinking, like, damn, like, oh shit, like, I ain't never even think about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and we go through everyday life not thinking about, the other person. Like, I could see you and be like, yo, fuck is you looking at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been in those situations.
Yeah, and
before,
it trigger you.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know how to control myself, because you just staring at me. And you could be staring at me trying to wonder my pain. You could just be wondering my pain.
That I'll just use. I got two things I want to share with you because they hit me.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing was my experience with that. Young dude out here. This was like some years back. I was getting on the bus, and we just so happened to catch eye contact.
Right.
And I don't think that I was staring at him. I think I might have been doing my thinking. I don't even think. And it may have just maybe my me moving my eyes. It landed on him for too long. He went right into that with me, and I'm like, no, I wasn't even.
Yeah.
And he was a young dude, but he was big. But I could tell he was a young boy. But he went right into like, sup, like went there with me, and I'm like,
well, what's up with you?
I'm not even.
Right.
My mind not even there.
Right.
So what I did was, because I knew he was just a hothead, a knucklehead, right? So I went to him first. I introduced myself. Like I let some time go by, right? We both at the bus station. So I let some time go by, and I walked up to him, and this is the ego within me, right? Because I'm like, yo, young boy was talking crazy, like who fucking think he talking to, right? But I'm also like, no, that's the problem. It's something wrong with him. Maybe he dealing with something else that has nothing to do with me, and then it just so happened to come to me, right? But I introduced myself. I walked up to him, introduced myself, and I think I had just became like manager at my job or something like that. And I'm like, yo, like I don't know what you got going on. My fault for that back there. Like that wasn't nothing like towards you. I was just in my own thoughts and thinking. I wasn't like staring you down or nothing like that. But nonetheless, like what you got going on? Like you looking for a job or something? Like I just, I'm a manager up over here. Like mind you, forklifts and all that stuff. He was a big young boy. Like we could some of that aggression. You probably might want to place it somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because if you're not dealing with a person that's able to come up with that in the moment, you could lose your life.
Yeah.
Or do something to take somebody else's life. So, I'll remember if I ever see Young Boy again, I'll remember his face. But nonetheless, but it made me think about this thing with Jay-Z when he talked about it was on one of his interviews, one of his sit downs, and he talked about the mentality in our community when that happens is, and you brought it up, you talked about it. Oh, you can see my pain. Some people might. It's like you can see that I'm hurt. Right. I don't want you to see that I'm hurt. Right. So they cover it up. We tend to cover it up with what you looking at, dog. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because the hurt is deep. The hurt might cause you to break down. And in our mind, that tends to show a sign of weakness, right? So if you look too long, you're gonna be able to see that I be breaking down sometimes at night because of my current situation, and I want to protect that with my macho demeanor. You feel what I'm saying? But it made me those two things when you spoke on it. It made me think about those two things.
And it was a video out. I don't know if you saw it but it was a young boy in front of a store, and the old head was just like recording. He was like, "Young boy, why you acting so tough?" He was like, "Go ahead, old head, da da da," or whatever, and he broke down crying.
Yep.
Like he's like, "Yeah, I just lost my grandmom." It was just a lot of stuff and it was just like little stuff like that. You don't know. You don't know. So it's like you probably changed his life just by going and talk to him. Like, dang, like.
Or and even if it didn't change it right away,
gave him a different perspective too.
And even if he makes more mistakes, I think that kind of experience should stick with him. Maybe he has some more maturing to do.
Right.
But maybe he'll think back to that one time about how I handled myself, or this is an option. It don't always have to be that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this. So you talked about and I agree. It's very funny. Although it's so crazy because I know it's serious, but then it's funny. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm laughing, but this joke funny, but it's not. It's serious, but it's funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think you did a great job at implementing that into the content creation. So salute to you for that. If you haven't mentioned it already, I just want to ask, like, because we pretty much covered everything that pretty much led us to the videos that you got going on here. What was the motivating force for it? And I ask you that because it's a lot going on there, So, what motivated you to do that?
Well,
to put it out there is what I'm asking.
It was very this was years in the making, like years. I was so scared to put out stuff, like scared, like I didn't want people to judge, I didn't want this, I didn't want that, and then it was just like one time it hit me, and it was just like, yo, like you gotta, and I feel like if I tell my story, that's why I said change within, and the world gonna follow. So I feel like if I started it off, other people would start it off. And side notes for stuff that's going on in my personal life, everything is changing around me right now. Like it's changing. After that, I put out that video, everything is changing, man, and people starting to be more mature, and people starting to apologize to this person and all of that. And I'm very grateful, even if I'm not the reason. I feel like after I put that in the universe, it was just like that's how I came back tenfold for me. And but the it was just to free myself, like, cause I got a lot of burdens, I got a lot of, you know, like stuff that happened or whatever, and it's just like, all right, it was just holding me back. And I feel like once I put it out there, it was just like I don't have to worry about it no more. It's like a monkey off my back. So I started off with that, and I just made it because I've been creative.
Yeah,
so,
I can see.
Yeah, and it was just like, all right, well, just let that go and then just go. Be that butterfly that you was in the cocoon for so long for. Like, so yeah.
That's fire.
How I felt it.
That's fire. I want to ask, like, what was some of like the feedback that you received? You know,
it was interesting because it was people that, you know, was commenting like I didn't expect, like,
yeah,
you know,
it was. That's for me. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I know that because we'll get into the issue world too. We're gonna get into that also. Right. So that was completely different from what you were doing with the podcast, because you embarked on a podcast, which interests me to want to work with you. And then, boom, that joint came. Those Jones was left field. Yeah. I'm like, oh no, he's serious. Oh, he for real. Yeah. It was definitely like out of left field. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
It was an amazing feedback. Like I didn't expect. Like it was just like, you know, Fish, and I didn't. That was like I knew Fish. Like he cool people. Definitely cool people. All his family and all of them. Shout out to them. Like they cool people. But he was like on every joint. Even you and Quan and everybody reposted. Like, but that was one person that stuck out because like with y'all, it's like, all right, that's all. Yeah. But I didn't expect that. And he was like, yo, like, and he was just like commenting on every joint. Like he been through some stuff like that was similar to that. Yeah. And it was just like, and then a girl that randomly just walked up to me and was like, yo, I appreciate you. I'm like, whoa.
You never know. You never know.
Like that was.
Yeah.
And it was just like a surreal moment. Like, I put something out that people actually like, you know.
That's fire. Yeah, it's definitely good. And I would like to see more, but we gonna let them. So I want to ask you this before we move on from the from your content creation, that aspect of your content creation. And this kind of like hit me because in this thing, obviously you're dealing with your problems, but you're also offering up solution.
Right.
That's fire.
Right.
So I kind of like want to ask you, who do you think you're more like? Are you more like the main character, or are you more like Dr. Ali? But it seems that you're both of them. Huh?
Yo, Dad, you want to know what's crazy? Yeah. I'm nothing like Ish Ali.
Okay. Yeah,
no, I ain't gonna put it out there like that.
No, that's not Ish, y'all. That's fire.
Yo, no, it's I'm more so Dr. Ali.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I can see that.
I'm more so Dr. Ali. So, but Ish is the alter ego, basically. So it's Dr. Ali and Ish Ali, and Ish Ali is the alter ego that got all these problems. Like, yeah, he got all these problems. So basically, I'm talking to myself for real.
Oh my
but
gosh!
At the same time, it's that's like fire. It's another person or whatever.
Yeah, but that's fire.
Yep. And like he go through stuff and you know, I see people like the first episode. Like I see people going through stuff like for women. You know what I mean? So yeah, and it's just like you will go to like people go to jail for women and doing all of that, and it's just like, all right, well, don't let them trick you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, she provoked you to fight. Now you in jail in protective custody because you can't deal with jail. So you just did all of that, beat somebody up and did all of that for a girl that don't even care about you no more. She probably didn't even write Ish Ali or nothing. It was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's like, yo, just it's stuff. It's just stuff to think about, like that we go through on an everyday basis.
I will. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to see more ish. Hopefully, we can see more.
Definitely.
We gonna talk. We gonna talk. I got a few things I want to share with you. But even if it's not that, I would definitely be interested in seeing more of your creative mind coming to life like that.
For sure.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
That's fire though.
It's coming.
So, all right, okay. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get right into that.
Yep.
So let's talk about. So this is kind of like what put you on my radar as far as content creation. Mm-hmm. It's the It's Your World podcast. Right. I know on there you were pretty much using that to talk about your sports teams, which we could get into also here. Mm-hmm. But before we get there, I just want to ask you, have you always been interested in acting and content creation, or
acting for sure?
Okay.
Since I was a kid, regardless if sports worked out or anything, like I always I knew when I was 5 years old, I knew Friday front to back. Like I know like the music that's gonna come on and what scene and all of that. Okay. Like when I was 5 years old, and I could just like recite it. And my uncle Tamara, like he used to always have all the DVDs. You know how when you got the magazine, and you got the 5 DVDs for 49 cents, stuff like that. Yeah. Like he would just always buy DVDs, and I'd just be in his room watching all that barbershop joint that I did, stuff like that. Like I just know, and I always wanted to be an actor anyway, because I, you know, Mr. Williams.
Mr. Williams.
At Walnut.
No, see, I'm Bell Avenue.
Oh, you Bell Avenue? Okay. No, it was Mr. Williams. So we used to have film club when I was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. We had film club, and that's when I fell in love with acting, because I was in like a movie that we all did after school as an after school program.
Okay.
And I fell in love with it, and I started writing my own scripts when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. Right. But I mean, like it was just the writing of it. I didn't know the format and how everything was supposed to go, but I was just like always using my imagination and all that. So. Yeah.
That's fire. Yeah. That's fire. Yeah. And you and see, that's again young, black, and gifted, because there are things that lie within this, and I talked about this on our last episode. And one of the biggest challenges that we face is finding a way to pull them out of ourselves, especially if this isn't what we've been doing. Like you talked about consistency, right? But I knew it was something there. You do a good job at. You don't let everything out. People aren't going to be able to go on your Instagram page and tell your life, right? Right. So you do a great job at protecting yourself in that aspect of things. I want to ask you this. This question is from directly from Jazz, if you will. Okay. What are your biggest challenges you face with content creation, whether it be in podcasting, directing, or acting? What are some of the biggest challenges you faced?
Being a one-man band.
Okay.
Being a one-man band.
So let's talk about that. How has that been like?
Like we was discussing before we even got on air. It's just like you was fixing the camera. Yeah. And it was just like I turned the camera backwards. Yeah. I would have to shoot, go back and be like, I ain't like this. My head chopped off, all that. Like I'm like, yo, man, like what's going on here, man? And I got readjusted and be like, all right, that might be enough room and all of that. But doing it by myself is kind of challenging. But I get it done. Yeah. When what I gotta do, I gotta do or whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's necessary. I'll be honest with you. It's just definitely it's good to learn these things all by yourself. But when you really get into it, like to build a team, and that's pretty much where we are, is trying to build the team. Mm-hmm. When you got a team, it makes things flow a whole lot better, man. Right. So I kind of figured that would be a bigger challenge, that you're doing it all by yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. But even in that gives it a lot more character too, being as though that you're doing everything on your own. Mm-hmm. You follow me? So I guess shout out to you for that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we didn't talk about. So I did bring up It's Your World. So I know that you started off with It's Your World, and then we got the videos on YouTube and Instagram. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about It's Your World. Like what was your mission there? What was you doing there outside? I know we were talking about the sports teams, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what you had going on there?
The podcast was going to be, well, it still is, but it's basically like It's Your World. Yeah. Like if you was to come and be a guest on there. Yeah. Right now, it's your world. Yeah. Okay. It's what you got going on. Or I told
you he a wordsmith. He play with the words. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to give you that platform. Yeah. That platform and let you express yourself on how, because it's it really is your world. It's everybody's world. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I had like a little slogan that I was was doing like my whole life. Like, it's your world. I just live here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it was just like that's what I wanted to do. But when I first started, it was just like, all right, let me just talk about my sports teams and all of that, and how I feel about going into the season and breaking down games and all of that, and
So I'm on point. I'm gonna tell you. So let's talk about the Dolphins. How do we become a Dolphins fan?
That's the $1 million question, because that's left field.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah.
That everybody says. They're like, yo, why are you a Dolphins fan?
Yeah.
When I was young, I fell in love with their colors. Their colors was everything.
Yeah, Jersey times and all that. I could see that.
Man, their colors was everything.
That was crazy. For the Jersey time, yeah, fire.
The colors was everything. So my grandpa made it his business to instill in everybody in the family, like, all right, well, you can't bandwagon team. You gotta stay with your team. Yeah. Regardless if we 1-16, 1-17, it don't matter. I'm still a Dolphins fan. Yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan.
You can't be an Eagles fan. They undefeated this year.
Right. And you know, people was on there like, ho, you not no Eagles fan? Like, y'all didn't know that. But like you said, I don't post everything. Like, so a lot of people didn't know I was a Dolphins fan. So.
Okay. So what's your thoughts on the state of the team at the moment?
Oh, man, we're moving in the right direction.
Okay.
But
is it that quarterback? Y'all a little quarterback trouble?
Healthy?
Yeah.
I think we got a chance against anybody to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But the team as itself, I feel like we can compete with anybody. Like, we just got Jalen Ramsey, so we
okay.
But that's I don't want to. I also posted it too. Like, I also got, retract, like, all right, we got a lot of good names and all of that, but you know how that went in Brooklyn. So it's just like, I can't get too excited. Because I was excited when it just didn't work out, and I'm like, man, that 30 for 30 going to be crazy. Like, that 30 for 30 going to be crazy, man.
That's a fact. So what's your before we move on, because you brought up Brooklyn, we definitely going to get into them. Mm-hmm. So what's your prediction for the upcoming season for your team?
Like record-wise, or
just period. What's your expectations of it?
Okay, so if everybody's healthy, Super Bowl.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Super Bowl, like, shoot for the moon. Why not? Yeah. We got the team to do it, and I feel like we can win the Super Bowl. Okay. And if we win the Super Bowl, y'all not gonna hear the end of it. Yeah. Y'all not gonna end it here. Y'all gonna.
So what's that? The AFC South. The AFC
East.
South? East?
Yeah.
Oh, it's East. Okay.
So, the Jets probably about to get Aaron Rodgers, and you don't know how that. Yeah, you know how that go.
Lamar Jackson to the Patriots. You ain't. Let me go get my hat.
Oh, you a Patriots fan?
Cool. Let me go get that.
Get him out of here, man. Get him out of here, man.
All right, Brick. I just sent my son home with my Patriots hat. Lamar Jackson to the Patriots, man. Yeah. That'll be fire. Well, it's a lot of stuff going on surrounding the NFL. I'm interested to see how it plays.
We're going to have to watch a couple games together.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. We can get into that. We can get right into that.
We got to watch a couple games together, man.
Yeah, so you brought up Brooklyn, man. Let's talk about it, man. First off, how did we become a Brooklyn Nets fan, man?
Jason Kidd.
Okay.
Jason Kidd.
Fire. That was a great era, too, for them.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I was a huge Jason Kidd fan.
Okay.
Penny Hardaway is my favorite player of all times.
Okay.
Like, all time.
Okay.
I don't think
so not Jamal Crawford?
No, Jamal Crawford was a point in time, because he was like, everybody retired and all of that. So
okay.
Every time.
And he was on Brooklyn. Was he on Brooklyn at one point?
For one, the bubble. Just in the bubble.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like, I was happy though.
Okay.
I was happy. But I like every period of time. So when one of my favorite players retire, I pick up
another one. Okay, that makes sense.
That time.
Yeah.
But of all times, it's Penny Hardaway.
Fine.
But through the years, it was, Jason Kidd, Jamal Crawford, Kyrie Irving, and
fine.
So it's like, all right, and I'm so loyal, so I wait till my favorite player retire before I pick up another one. Before I pick up another one.
Fine.
So yeah, that's how I look at it. That's crazy. You knew about Jamal Crawford.
Yeah. Yes, I got one. I said I got you.
Okay. Yeah.
So Brooklyn. How do we become a Brooklyn Nets fan? How did that happen? Jason Kidd. Oh yeah, my fault. Yeah. So So what's your thoughts on the state of the Brooklyn Nets at this moment?
I feel like this is worse than. I feel like, in my opinion, this is worse than when we got Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. Because we gave up the whole roster for.
And it took y'all a while to get back off.
Oh my God!
And KD and Kyrie was what y'all did.
Mm-hmm.
And when y'all got back off.
And look what Boston got out of it. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
That's crazy.
all them first round picks that they got from us is like, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. And I'm still here pushing.
Dang.
Like, it ain't like, all right, KD and Kyrie left, I'm out. Nah.
They was doing good. The season before they got KD and Kyrie, y'all were doing good. I think, did y'all make it to the second round?
We made it to, no.
Y'all made a good push. If y'all didn't go to the first round, y'all
I think we lost in the first round.
But y'all had a crazy run at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then you get KD and Kyrie.
That feeling right there was just like, cause that's something that I did post, and I was letting everybody hear it. I was like, yo, it's on. Anybody, then the injuries and we might win it next year, or then you got Kyrie doing what he do, and him being my favorite player, I always like had his back. It was just like, all right, I don't care about the basketball side of things because he got something bigger going on. So I was just like, all right, I'm in support of that. Like, it's not too much about basketball. Basketball, you can finish basketball at any period of time, but behind him, like standing behind him without the COVID and all of that, I'm not taking no vaccine either. So I was standing behind him, like whatever he want to do off the, because it became
standing for something.
Man. Yeah, and it became not about basketball no more. Like they was abusing his character. Like he's this, he's that, and all he trying to do is stand up for something that he feel like is you putting poison in our bodies and all of that. Like he just stood for something, and I was like,
that's fire. Yeah, no, I agree. So what's your take on because what you just said is something that I hear Quan get on here and talk about a lot with Russell Westbrook. So do you feel like the media did the same thing with Russell Westbrook? They kind of like abused his character and kind of like help outlaw him, or do you think that's just a product of his own doing?
No, it's not a product of his own doing, because shout out to Russell Westbrook, and I argue with my friends because like him as a player, I feel like he got so much passion for the game. He just like don't care how he gonna win, and it kind of goes away from the team thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, he's so passionate, he's so good. Like he understand how to play basketball because he got to that level. Yeah, you know what I mean. But when it comes to I want to be the man, I want to be the man. And I feel like when he was on OKC and like, all right, Durant so humble, he not gonna be like, yo, Russ, I need the ball. Like when it come time for it, like this is what I'm paid for. But Russ like, no, I got it. And like, but that's whose
fault is that?
Russell Westbrook.
No.
Oh, what you mean?
It's the coach fault. Because he should have established what was supposed to happen in those moments. Bottom line.
Yeah, you can say that.
Because
you can say that.
I just talked about this. How did they mess that up, Ish? OKC.
Man, it's a lot of different things. It could be ego.
I can see that.
It could be ego.
I can see that.
It could be ego, but Kevin Durant. Like I gave an analogy on Instagram before too, and I was dealing with the Brooklyn Nets, and it was like, all right, how James Harden and Kyrie and Kevin Durant gonna work?
I forgot James Harden was a part of that squad.
Yeah, it's like how they all gonna work. I'm like, all right, let's just take the analogy of you got 20 piece nugget. He gonna say, all right, well, you and James Harden split this 15. I'm cool with this 5 because I know with this 5. I can get you 45. Yeah. I can split this a million different times. This little 5, I can split this like 45 or 50 ways and get you a 50 piece. Y'all could take the other shots if y'all want to because I'm so efficient. And that's what makes Kevin Durant so great. Like he's so efficient. It's just like he can score with ease. Like,
and
you know what I mean?
He just can't stay healthy, man.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Is he out for the season?
Now. No, I don't think he's out for the season.
Okay. Yeah, that I'm like, damn, as soon as he in the warm-ups, he had
something. Yeah, he can't stay healthy, man. And that's one thing that has to deal with luck. Because like when you dealing with injuries and all of that, like you can work your body up for whatever you want, but if you get injured, you get injured. Like you can't run away from it, I don't think. Like you can't brace yourself for an ankle injury and all of that. Stuff won't happen in sports.
So what's your expectations of the Nets?
I think
are they playoff bound? I think
they playoff bound, and it depends on who we play. If we play the Sixers in the first round, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, and I'm being biased because I'm rocking with my team. Like we could beat the Sixers, but I'm gonna keep it real. Like it's gonna be very, very tough. But I'm always gonna give us that little bit of hope that we can beat the Sixers.
Because the Sixers, I can't. It's hard for me to take the Sixers serious.
I don't think the Sixers gonna go all the way. But I think they got enough to beat us.
They got an edge over. Okay.
Yeah, they got enough to beat us.
Joel Embiid.
That boy, man. If they don't get that boy MVP, man, this year.
What he like 3-4 years in a row that they
they snubbed him, man.
Yeah. He should have got it last year. They could have gave it to him.
They could have. Yeah. Yep.
So Penny Hardaway. So I had Jamal Crawford here, but I do remember the Jamal Crawford era. Let's talk about you talked about Jason Kidd. Let's talk about Penny Hardaway. With your likeness, what drew you to Penny Hardaway?
My game.
Yeah. Okay.
My game, like when it comes to like not Kyrie Irving or Jamal Crawford, I just like the flashiness and all of that, and how they handle it's crazy, and like it excites me. But with the first two, Penny Hardaway and Jason Kidd, the Doms, like I used to give it up. Like, listen, if we on a fast break, I see you if I don't see you. Like, and that was more exciting than scoring to me. And it was like Penny Hardaway could score, he could pass, he could rebound, and he was a big guard. He was like 6'7" as a point guard, and it was just like he could do everything on the floor.
Which was kind of rare during those
times. Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't normal back then. Yeah.
Yep.
So what you think about, and you brought up ego, what you think about, and I was just talking about this not too long ago, what you think about his stint there at in Orlando?
That was definitely ego.
Yeah.
When you saw this magic moment on 30 for 30, it was definitely about ego, because Shaq was like, all right, well, I'm the man. You know, they got Lil Penny commercials and all of that. It's just like, man, let me get out of here, go to L.A.
So that's what happened, right? So he signed to L.A.
Yeah.
He was at the end of his contract, and he could have so all right, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought happened.
And he said if he would have stayed, they would definitely won a championship. Yeah, I think so.
They had the team. I mean, I you know, I was a little younger then, but that was kind of like my introduction to basketball around that time. They had a nice team. They just didn't have the experience at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I got for you, Ish, man. Anything that we didn't talk about that you want to, bring to the forefront?
Music.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Music.
Yes. let's do it, Ish. Let's do it. Cole or Kendrick?
I like Kendrick.
Why?
Kendrick on a different level when it comes to different things about, like, he goes beyond dimensions when it comes to like seeing stuff from a different point of view and seeing things from a different perspective outside of it's like outside of our minds. Like, it's just like, like he just tap into a different part, not even in the mind, like it's how you feel when you listen to him and all of that. So it's like,
how did you feel about his most recent album?
Amazing.
I agree.
Yeah. Amazing. And he got this he got a couple songs on there that's relatable. Like, yeah.
That's a fact.
It's definitely like Mother Eye Sober, like stuff like that. Like,
how would you rate that album? Where would you rate it within his catalog? And if it's not at the top, what would you say your favorite album from him is?
It's top 3, but my favorite album from Kendrick would have to be it had to be Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay. The original joint.
Yeah, I like To Pimp a Butterfly.
I remember that. I remember just the energy built around that, and I wasn't budging. So kind of like my biasness, because that was like the new era MCs right there. You had Cole, you had Kendrick, Big Sean was a part of that. Wale, maybe even Meek was there. He was. But I knew that Cole and Kendrick was the top ones, and I'm like, nah, Cole.
That class was crazy though. That class is definitely crazy, man.
And
like,
I didn't give none of Kendrick music a try because I was being bought, because the world was ranking Cole second, and I'm like,
you ain't like that.
Now listen to that. He got to say they tripping, bro. So I didn't. Good Kid, Mad City. I've probably heard parts of it. I've never listened to it collectively.
Right.
To Pimp a Butterfly, definitely not, because that was after 2014 Forest Hill Drive. I thought that should have got the Grammy. I said, how did they get it? But I get it. I still haven't to this day. Now, if you would have said that was in your top 3, I would listen to it. Quan just talked about it. He said that is a beautiful album, but because of, again, my biasness, and around that time, I'm like, nothing to do with him, right? But it wasn't until he dropped Damn.
Okay.
When Damn came out, and I don't know what it was. Obviously, it's Kendrick, so the hype is there for anything Kendrick. But maybe I heard like some of the radio cuts, and that was, to me, the sound was a little different from what he had normally put out there.
Right.
But he definitely caught my attention with Damn, and then his most recent album, those two. So And then sometimes I kind of like dive into like little bits and pieces, but Kendrick has definitely earned my respect.
Grew on you.
I'm just not willing to put him above Cole-ish. I'm sorry, bro.
That's cool. Cool. That's cool.
Cole is I would say Cole is like we was talking about this a little bit before we started recording. I was saying definitely a lot more relatable with his storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I think he went through a little era where he was kind of losing me, but I stuck with him because you know.
Where he lose you at?
He lost me with For Your Eyes Only, right?
Okay.
Which I don't think it's not a good album, but because I was so used to that, it was like a certain bravado with Cole talking his shit on top of being nice with it. But that one, that album was kind of like it was designed for something specific, if you will.
Okay.
It wasn't a Cole album.
Right,
he was telling a story through the eyes of a friend of his who had lost his life.
Right.
So he's rapping, but he's not talking about him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it had kind of like a somber feel to it too. So I wasn't used to that from Cole. I was used to Cole being very like energetic. And I think he might have went through like a depression period because it came out a lot in his music. So I wasn't the biggest fan of For Your Eyes Only. And I did like KOD, which I believe came out Kids on Drugs.
Right.
You know, now what he did there and what he started, I liked it when it dropped, but what he did there was he used the current delivery and style of music.
Right, you ain't like that.
But he implemented his ability to be able to actually say something on top of it. Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of that.
There was one song I did like really like the cutoff.
Yeah.
That thing was different.
I know Heaven Is a Mind State. I've seen it a couple times. I don't know if that's the cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a drink. Give me smoke.
Yeah. No, the album, I like the album, but I was saying like I wasn't a fan of the style of his approach. But overall, I thought it was a good album.
Yeah.
His compilations is good too. So he kind of like won me back with his compilation efforts, the Dreamville. Yeah, those was good. And then
what you think about his artists?
Jid my favorite.
Bass and all
that. Bass and Bass is kind of like I don't know what he doing now. I did like him originally. But my favorite out of them is J.I.D.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta check that out. It's called DiCaprio 2. It's a good piece of music. And then also he got his group called Earth Gang. They call themselves Earth Gang. Yeah, they fire too.
Okay.
But he kind of I figure like at this point he kind of like trying to like wean into the executive.
Yeah.
Which Hove gave. That's a part of the. I mean, they all give that to us. Like that's the blueprint.
Yeah.
You know, you gain your success as a rapper, then you start, kind of like falling back. But I still do it, but I'm gonna fall back a little bit. Yeah. But nonetheless, though, I think that's a. Would you be interested in a Cole and Kendrick collabo?
Nah, I'm not even gonna hype myself up about that because I've been waiting on that joint. That joint ain't never happened. I'm like, man, y'all, I'm cool off of y'all, man. Until it actually like got a release date, I'm not hyping myself up.
We might end off with that song. Did you hear the song that they did together? They actually
Black Friday.
Is that what it is? And they switch beats.
Yeah.
So Cole rap on
his
we
beat.
Gonna Be Alright. Yeah. So maybe we'll end off like that. Yeah.
Underrated lady.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Underrated lady.
Young, black, and gifted, we do it for the culture. Every podcast we help bring our people closer. Tired of being underrated, you can ask Jazz. This beat got horsepower like it's polo on a tag. Aquan, let them know it's every Tuesday and Friday. He said it wasn't possible like Twista and Kanye. Renegon, I've been seen it happen like Sasuke. Love is stronger than pride and it's the close to the side A. 12 midnight, I'm still smoking in the driveway. This ain't for the kids, go to Chucky for the child's play. We all gon' burn like Pompeii. Until then, you should grab your seat and come and tune in. What?